Well, let's start. It's good to see
Yeah.
everybody here. It's good to see everybody here, even if you switch your camera off. You're here in spirit. And yes, that's great. Um, this is the last of these basic meditation classes before the Easter break. And just for the record, I may remember to say it again at the end, but we take a few weeks break and then we resume again on the 20th of April, So it's quite a long break. And gosh, it's really great, this is being the last one for a bit, that Ajahn Barry has kindly agreed to come back and lead the class. That's fabulous. And he'll tell you all about what he's going to do, or more to the point, what we're going to be doing in just a moment. But let me say what I usually do. There will be an opportunity for questions and discussion at the end, I guess. In the meantime, if anybody is really, got an urgent question or anything they'd like to send through in the chat box, I will be keeping an eye on the chat box and I can relay them in due course to Ajahn Barry. I think that's more than enough from me. I'm looking forward to hearing you lead the class tonight. Well, thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Colin, and welcome everybody, and welcome the faces of the people that I know. Nice to see you again. It seems like ages since I've taken this class, or any class actually. I don't think it's as long as it feels, but it seems like a long time. I'll just do the introductory paying homage to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhanam sangham namasami. So a few of you will know what I'm going to do here, and it's purely about encouragement. I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm just really saying, try this and see if it works. I personally can't see why it wouldn't work if we really do try it. But as I say, I'm not here to teach you anything, because you can believe that there's a teacher, you can believe that you are a teacher, but nobody, and I mean nobody, can really tell you anything. Even the Buddha couldn't tell you anything. He can only, as he says, point the way, and it's for us individually to walk it. Now, as I say, mindfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death, from the Dhammapada. And they're actually saying that heedlessness is death. Of course, it's not a physical death, but we're divorced. We're totally separated from our true life. We're living in a world made up by our minds. They call it samsara, and we tend to believe in that because that's the way we've always been told it is. We think that it is that way, and this is a bit of a problem when we come to this type of path, because it's about letting go of our attachment to these ideas, these views, these opinions, these desires to become. the desires to get away from, and the attachment to the desires. To look at that place prior to our conditioning kicking in, so to speak. To look, to notice that there is something behind or in front or behind that self that is created. And it's spacious, it's open awareness. But of course, because of our conditioning, our views and opinions, yeah, I really feel that I should be doing something. Just knowing that open, spacious awareness, that can't be good enough. I need to correct things. I need to achieve things. I need to complete all these Buddhist lists. Well, I don't see how we can complete any list when we're coming from the point of samsara. When we still, it's like the blind leading the blind. So let's look somewhere else. Let's know that place of open awareness. Let's live from that place of open awareness. Let's learn to trust that place of open awareness, which again takes practice, because we are control freaks. We have this thing about, we don't like simplicity. We want complications. We want exercises, techniques, lists to fulfill. So just by this simple, open awareness, what I think of as true mindfulness, not I am doing this, I am walking slowly in a certain fashion, I am drinking my tea, I am, forget the I. Know that place of awareness, and then start to see how things really start to come together. The teachings that we mostly know, the basic teachings, start to flourish. The seeds of the teachings start to germinate. We start to notice a difference in our responses to the world. We don't get so involved in this soap opera that we take part in. We start to see it more from the outside. But of course, we can take part. But we're not ruled by it. We have a perspective on it. Things are the way they are. They're like this. If only we settle back, using the body, a part of the body, the breath, or the sounds of silence, or the sounds. Everything is an opportunity to be in the present moment. But remember, it's not, in actual fact, the present moment. It's that it gives us the opportunity to see that place, that open, spacious awareness, before the mind starts to do what it does. And it's not a problem, the mind doing what it does, because that's what it does. It's not a case of trying to quieten the mind, trying to stop the thoughts. Because if you truly look, if you are aware of your body, a part of the body, the breath, the sounds, the sound of silence, you're automatically here. The mind has so-called stopped. This thinking intellectual mind, this is I'm talking about. Experiment, see. If you're aware of a particular part of say the hands, you're aware of the hands. The problem mind, the superficial mind, the conditional mind stops. You don't need to stop it. But if we remember to always come back, always to be aware, then there is that natural ceasing of our neurotic, endless thought process, which leads to our intuition coming forward, learning to balance our intellect with our intuition, or not learning to, it happens. We're not interested in putting the intellect down. It's a great thing, but a terrible master. But bringing that back into balance, because the intellect has totally taken over our intuitive side. So we'll do as usual, especially on a Thursday. I'll do the guided sweeping meditation, going through the body bit by bit. Now, if I suggest being aware of the top of the head, this isn't about projecting a thought, projecting a picture of the top of your head. Maybe you cannot be aware of the top of the head, and that's absolutely fine. But you can be aware of that spacious, open awareness. And that's all we're interested in. A true letting go, not me letting go. That's not possible. The problem can't fix the problem. Samsara can't fix samsara. So let's just do something different, as in just noticing, just being that open awareness. So sitting in a posture that's conducive to your awareness. I would imagine most of you are quite practiced meditators, so to speak. I prefer to sit with my eyes slightly slitted because I find it easier to go off into dreams with them completely closed. But again, if you're used to sitting with them closed, fine. Ideally, the hands together in the Buddhist mudra. The crown of the head slightly, very gently pushed up, so the face is vertical. It's not hanging forward, which implies we're nodding off, or going back, which implies we're going off into a dream world. So being aware of the body from the tips of the toes to the top of the head, not projecting pictures or thoughts, just noticing. As I say, maybe you cannot notice the body. Maybe there is no body. But just know that spacious awareness. when the mind wanders, which is what the mind does, so it's not a problem. Just gently, with loving kindness, not interfering, gently come back to the body or a part of the body. So now becoming aware of the head, the top of the head. Letting that be in that awareness. All we're really interested here is in knowing that awareness. Now becoming aware of the back of the head and the sides of the head. Now bringing your ears into your awareness. What happens to your mind when you try to be aware of your ears? If you don't project pictures or thoughts, my mind is just spaciously open. Now becoming aware of the forehead and the eyebrows. and the eyes. And the eyelids. And bringing your nose into your awareness, your consciousness, your mindfulness. Now becoming aware of the mouth, the lips, the tongue, inside the mouth. Just notice how the mind stops in that place of awareness when we are present. Now being aware of your chin and the jaw and the cheeks of the face. If you cannot be aware of them, that's absolutely fine, but you can be aware of that open awareness, that open spaciousness. Now bringing the whole of your face and the whole of the head into that awareness, not projecting pictures or thoughts, just noticing. Now becoming aware of the neck and the throat. and the shoulders. Noticing any feelings in the shoulders, in the neck, but not analyzing them or dwelling on them, just knowing them, not adding to them or trying to take away. So now becoming aware of the arms, the upper arms down to the elbows. And from the elbows down to the wrists. And the hands, the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands, the thumbs, the fingers, the joints of the fingers, the knuckles, the tips of the fingers, and the fingernails. What happens to your mind when you place your awareness at your fingernails? I can't be aware of my fingernails, but I can be aware of that spacious awareness. So now bringing into your awareness, your mindfulness, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, the neck, the face and the head. Now becoming aware of the back, from the shoulders down the back, down the sides of the trunk, down through the shoulder blades, the spine, down the spine, to the arch of the back, the small of the back, down through the coccyx and the buttocks and the hips. Now bring into your awareness the whole of your back, the shoulders, the hands, the arms, the neck, the face and the head. You don't need to concentrate on any particular part. You just need open awareness, or you need to see that open awareness. Now becoming aware of the chest from the shoulders down through the rib cage, the trunk of the body, the diaphragm, the stomach, the belly area, the navel, the intestines, the groin, and the hips. Now bringing the whole of the body, the whole of the trunk, the front of the body, the back of the body, the shoulders, the hands, the arms, the neck, the face and the head into that open awareness, not concentrating, not projecting, just truly knowing, truly being aware of. So now becoming aware of the legs, the upper legs from the hips down to the knees. and from the knees down to the ankles. Just noticing any feelings, any sensations, not interfering at all, just noticing them for what they are. And the feet, becoming aware of the soles of the feet, the arches of the feet, the balls of the feet, and the toes, and the tops of the feet, the sides of the feet, the joints of the toes, and the toenails. So now bringing the whole of your body from the tips of the toes, the top of the head, into that open awareness. Not focusing on one part, but just the whole of the body. Noticing the breath, not interfering with the breath, not following the breath, just knowing that gentle, normal breathing. Listening to perhaps the sound of silence, not to outside sounds. I mean, if they happen, they just come and they go. But just listening to that silence. I'll ring the bell in a short while, but please don't think in terms of the meditation coming to an end. We can do this in any posture. We can be aware at any time. So bringing this into our ordinary, everyday life, we do these special things like these formal meditations, but it is special. We can't live like this And there'd be no point in living like this, actually. And it's not where wisdom arises. But bringing that awareness into our ordinary everyday life. And it's really not complicated. Whilst talking to somebody, just to be aware of our feet. Notice how that anchors us to the present moment. Listening to that silence. Noticing that when we are listening, when we are aware of the body or a part of the body, the mind does not wander. It cannot wander. If it does wander, we've lost the awareness. So just continually remembering, coming back, remembering, be aware. Notice how our mind, how our heart mind is in that moment. And it's not about being dull or cutting anything off. This open awareness accepts all, but it doesn't attach. It sees it as it is. It sees things the way they are. The more we live from that, the more the teachings start to make sense, not from the point of view, as I said before, of completing lists, but seeing, it's difficult to say how the lists have been completed. Using the Eightfold Path. As I say, using is the wrong word, but bringing that awareness into every aspect of the Eightfold Path. Understanding the Four Noble Truths, the suffering, the causes of suffering, seeing the cessation. Not so difficult. If we are present and aware, there is cessation. Of course it won't last because our conditioning is so strong. But the more we practice, the more we remember, then the more natural it becomes. And then after a while, it'll be, well, why the hell would we want to live in this deluded, confused, neurotic way that we normally live? We can see, we start to truly understand the suffering. It occurred to me, I thought, well, how can I understand the first noble truth of suffering? Because I am that suffers. I am. So how can I understand it? But by looking somewhere else, looking at that doesn't suffer, we start to get a true understanding of suffering. We start to see the causes of suffering. Wisdom starts to rise. It's not wisdom of putting the world right, but it's wisdom of letting go, so to speak. Knowing that place of awareness. Responding to life and not reacting to life. We normally react. Having some form, say when we go to bed, spend a short time meditating if possible. If not, lie in bed, sweep through the body. When you wake up in the morning, sweep through the body, re-establish that awareness. And this is wisdom. This is seeing what to do. And as I say, it's not about dulling out. It's not about a vacuum. It's about an awareness that contains everything. So shall we meditate formally for another period? And then please, if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, or you have some comments, please say something, because I know what I say, but I don't know what your interpretation of it is. So anyway, so I'll give this time I'll keep quiet. I'll give the occasional reminder, just to when we get lost in our thoughts, just to come back. Okay. So just gently come back when the mind wanders. Make good use of this time. Just remember to come back. Just coming back when the mind wanders to the whole of the body or a particular part of the body, or the breath, or the sounds, the sound of silence. Always investigating, not by analyzing, but just by looking with bare attention. Just noticing if there are feelings of discomfort in the body. Just look at them. If you need to move, move, but first look at them closely and then respond. When the mind wanders, just gently come back to a part of the body that you favour, or the breath, or the sounds of silence. So again, I'll ring the bell in a few minutes. Getting to know that place of awareness. So we know it in our active state, while stretching, while walking. Something we can take with us from this formal meditation. So does anybody have any questions or comments or their experiences or criticisms or whatever? Is anything coming through on the chats, Colin? You're muted. You're muted, Colin.
There we go. That should be okay.
Yeah, that's better.
But no, it's just Meg. Thank you very much for the class, and she's got to leave to celebrate her 33rd anniversary. So congratulations!
Right, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
But I haven't seen any other messages yet. And now we can all unmute if we'd like to. At least I think we can. And so do feel free, everybody, to if you'd like, unmute or send a chat through.
It looks like Jude has something. Hi, Jude.
Hi. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, everybody. I was just wanting to say how very helpful I think this practice is. I've been doing it now for about 3 years. And I think it's extremely helpful on lots and lots of counts. And I'm increasingly thinking that coupled with the remembering to come back during the day, I used to have a problem that the practice itself was very helpful, but I couldn't see how to create that elision through into everyday mindfulness, awareness, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. But through repeatedly your constant reminders to us to keep coming back, it does start to become pretty much the default position. And I think the two together, I just wanted to say, I think the two together really do create quite a shift in consciousness, and that the body scan practice really does give you the confidence, or it creates a base for you to not do that practice, but to be able to simply sit and see what happens, which there's no way I could have done a few years ago. And now I can do that. So that was one thing I just wanted to comment on. But the other is what might seem like a discrepancy in that this is a very physical practice. We're actually looking at our body, or we're not exactly looking at it, but we're scanning our body. And yet through doing it, we really do, or at least I should speak for myself, I really do start to see the insubstantial nature of my body and my mind, my thoughts. Everything is nothing's fixed, everything's changing, it's changeful, it's transitory. And so it's quite an interesting kind of dichotomy that it's a physical practice about our bodies, but actually it kind of endorses the Buddha's statement, doesn't it, that it all lies in the body, this whole fathom-long body, our perception, our realities, so that we actually do see through this practice that there is no thing, that there is no body, and that there is no self. So, sorry, this is probably very obvious to everybody else, but it started to dawn on me, is all I'm saying, is wanting to say, and to say thank you for that.
No, well, thank you, Jude. I mean, I don't think it's obvious to everybody. It's a great insight to suddenly start to realize, we use the body because it's here, it's now, It's nothing special, but it does give us the opportunity to see that place before the mind, before our conditioning kicks in. But also, as I say, the body is not, it just disappears. We start to see that we are a projection. We think in terms of we are my body. Well, that's just a projection. I am not my body. The body is just the house the awareness lives in. So yeah, I mean, through I think doing this, which perhaps is coming from a slightly different angle, we do start to naturally see the teachings start to live, not through us studying, not through us trying to get them, trying to understand, but it's a natural process. And this is perhaps what's a bit difficult with the practice is we seem to think, well, I certainly thought, and some people seem to, that we have to achieve something. We have to get something. We have to achieve something special. We have to awaken. We have to become wise. But it's not the way it is. We are those things if only we get out of the way and we start to truly understand, as you're saying, the insubstantiality, the changingness, the no self, the causes of suffering, etc. We understand it not through the intellect, but through a true knowing. So thank you for that, Jude.
Are there any other questions, comments for Ajahn Barry?
I would really like to believe that everybody understands what I'm trying to say. So they don't have anything to ask. Yeah, we come from different, we've got different conditionings. So it's bound to be that we will see things from different perspectives. So this is why I ask the questions, because it gets another side going, so to speak, coming from a slightly different angle. But I mean, I didn't expect to have a class full of bodhisattvas, but it's wonderful.
Sounds like a successful evening, Barry.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Everybody can unmute, I think.
Ajahn, do you have any tips for maintaining awareness during the day? I go about my business, but I just get caught up in things, and it's hard not to stay focused.
Yes, and it's a mistake to stay focused. It's literally a matter of, I take it you're sitting on a chair.
Mm-hmm.
You can be aware of your backside on the chair.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me.
Pardon?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
See, all we need to do is to be aware of a particular part of the body. The body is the easiest. So no matter what's going on in your life, business-wise or whatever, you can be aware of your feet, your backside on the chair if you're sitting down. So it's always remembering just to come back to something that is present here and now. And notice that place of awareness. So it's actually not so difficult once we get used to just returning to a particular part of the body or the breath. You know, there's a great teaching by Ajahn Chah about a student of his, a layman, goes and says, you know, I don't have time to practice. I've got children, I've got a wife, I've got buffalo, I've got rice paddies to look after. I just don't have time to practice. And he said, well, do you have time to breathe? Of course I have time to breathe. Then you have time to practice. Because all we need to know to be aware of that breath while we're talking to somebody or whatever. It's really not so complicated. So don't think in terms of concentration or striving. Just remember. Just remember right now to feel your hands, to feel any part of the body, to know the breath, to listen to the sound of silence, even in a noisy place. Does that help at all, do you think?
Yeah, that gives me something to think about.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it gives you something to do.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. So try it out. You know, when you're next in a busy situation or next minute, whatever, when we finish the meeting, just, I don't know if you're by yourself or with somebody, just be aware of the part of the body, your favorite part, whilst talking, whilst going to work tomorrow, whilst doing whatever we do. And see, notice that there's a slight standing back in a sense. It doesn't mean to say we can't take part. We can take part even more clearly because we're not so emotionally swayed by things. There's more of a clarity. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense, Jeff.
I've got a question through in the chat, which I think follows on quite nicely from what you've just been saying. And here we go. I've been meditating for quite a few years now, but still find the body sweep difficult. You may hang on, I'm playing around here. You may you may have answered this already, but what we're supposed to feel from this practice? Are we supposed to feel the impermanence of our bodies? Also, is this specific practice mentioned in the Pali Canon? There you
go. Mindfulness of the body certainly is mentioned in the Pali Canon. I do think that people oftentimes misinterpret it as being self-conscious by me doing this, me doing that, me doing special ways of doing things. Whereas for me, mindfulness, true mindfulness is from that place of open, spacious awareness. I've forgotten the other point. What was that?
Here we go. I'll go back again. It's interesting. What are we supposed to feel from this practice? Are we supposed to feel the impermanence to the body?
No, we're not supposed to feel anything. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to know that spacious awareness, that quietness before the mind kicks in. Knowing, in a sense, our intuitive, I say intuitive because I don't know of another word, that place that knows. And just to complicate things, the place that knows but cannot be known. It cannot be grasped because it is just open awareness. And that needs to be really known for ourselves. So hopefully that
I've just had a comment coming through. Somebody says they'd like to have asked a question, but they can't really hear much. That's obviously a poor connection. I just wanted to pass that on.
Yeah.
I don't know whether anybody else is having a tough time with the connection.
They can't type it.
Well, that's a possibility. Yeah. If the person's still there, you could try typing it through, and I'll do my best to read it out. Meanwhile, are there any other questions or comments?
It doesn't look like it, does it?
Well, I can't see anybody frantically waving. But maybe they are, but they haven't switched the screen on. I don't know. No, if there's, I'm still looking in the chat box, and I don't think I've got anything from it. Apologies if I'm not. Yeah. No, I can't see anything else.
Okay.
So,
okay. So my, I think we're probably done, but my encouragement is, really, really try this. Really just come using the body. The body's here. It can't lie. The mind will always try and fool us because that's Mara. Coming, a particular part of the body, the whole of the body, or the breath, or the sound of silence. Just see, experiment. When I say experiment, it's not an analytical experiment. It's just a looking clearly, looking at this thing, looking at that awareness. Posing questions on the Dharma, so to speak, but never really coming to a conclusion, an answer. The answer will come when the conditions are right, when we know clarity. The answers will automatically rise and we'll understand, truly understand, not just another intellectual idea. As I say, it is not about doing away with the intellect. It's not about stopping thoughts. Thoughts will quieten down once we are used to being in that place of awareness. And then, as they say in the Theravada tradition, we know the silent thinker. It's the thinker, it's the knowing thinker. But as I say, that knowing thinker cannot be known, as in it cannot be grasped, because it is nothing in a sense. It's not coming from our conditioned state. So just remembering, wherever you are, there really is no reason whatsoever not to be present. It can't be because we're too busy, because we can be busy and being aware. We can be running, swimming, watching the TV and be aware. So don't make excuses.
Well, there you go. That's
yeah.
That's something to bear in mind and do a bit of work on over the next few weeks, because this is the last class before Easter, and we resume again on the 20th of April. please come back for more. And I'm very grateful to you all being here, and of course, particularly to Ajahn Barry for joining us this evening. And he's very kindly said that he's going to keep helping us once a month. So that's something to look forward to. So there again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ajahn Barry. Thank you to Wongdu, who is making sure that the technology works pretty well tonight.
Yeah. Thanks to Wongdu and the Buddhist Society for allowing this to happen. And thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah. Enjoy yourselves, but be aware. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.